And we're going to get rolling. So give me a sec. Okay, so I am titling this, Let's Go Digital Asset Mining. Why? Because that's really what the whole idea here is. One thing you got to really understand about the Texit opportunity is it's about the mine. It's about building the mine. The mine is the tool. The mine is the hardware. The mine is the entity that produces the token. But this is not really a token play. Of course, it produces token. The token is going to go up in value, down in value. It's the commodity a lot of people are going to exchange in. But this is about harvesting and creating the tokens through the mining. Okay, so to kind of timestamp this, it's the 15th of November. This is our 1 o'clock presentation. So here's our disclaimer. This is educational, not financial advice. It could be a business opportunity. So it's going to have some risk. You got to know what you're willing to risk. Never invest funds you can't afford to lose just in case. Make sure you research and do your own due diligence. This presentation is my version of how I perceive the company to be. It's here to support our team. It's here to support our members, here to support people interested in learning about what's going on. Okay. So that's where we're at in terms of sort of concept. All right. The company does do official presentations. I'll get to that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which I'd suggest you attend. I'm also not an employee of Texit or the company, certainly not a financial advisor or an attorney. I'm not here to give tax or legal advice of any kind at all. And as I said, with the risk, there's no guarantees. Okay. It's done great for the last 12, 11, 12 months, maybe more. And hopefully it will continue to. Anyway, all right. So the star of our show today really is the Texit and the Texit coin opportunity, a layer one token project based in Texas in the United States. Not a whole lot of mining going on in the United States in general. There's some Bitcoin mining, but majority of it's overseas. So this is a homeland-based project in the United States. The story really behind this is the goal, the elusive goal of stable daily passive income. That's really the holy grail. That's what everybody's looking for. Everybody wants to get up, look at their phone, say, well, look, I made 80 bucks yesterday. I made 100 bucks yesterday. I made $1,000 yesterday. Better yet, I didn't do anything to do it, to get it. It's passive. That's really where the mission is. That's why we want to get people to try to focus on. So what is Texit anyway? Oops. Texit is the brainchild of the founder of the company. His name is Bobby Gray. He's got a long background in alternative currencies, primarily really gold and silver, and then later Bitcoin. And he was running a company that was minting physical coins. And those of you members know we do get a token sent to us to help access a cold storage. And he's the one who put this together. He's the one who's driving this. He's a very, very high profile. There's plenty of Zooms you can see him on. But the point is, he's got a very keen background in this field, and he's a good person to shepherd this project moving forward. So I just want to introduce that. There is some cryptocurrency involved. I kind of got the, I guess, dictionary definition up there, but I'm just going to define it as a digital asset. This is an asset that you can't really hold, but it has great benefits. It's simple to transact. That's the key. Transacting cryptocurrency is easy, as long as you got the right tools, and even better, super inexpensive. I had to send a wire last week. Cost me like, I don't know, $20, $25 in fees. I could have sent the same thing in crypto for like 6 cents. So one of the things that's happening is the whole cryptocurrency space is disrupting the traditional centralized banking space. And not everybody's happy about that. But it all runs, the technology that it runs on is a blockchain. Okay. A blockchain is essentially a giant digital storage ledger, never changes. It's all there on record. It can be viewed publicly, a permanent ledger of every transaction that the public can see. So we got the mine producing tokens that are going to run on this blockchain. So how do we mine? How do we do digital asset mining? Well, there's a couple ways it can happen. Some are little separate miners sitting all over the world trying to compete for mining space. Okay. Or you got what Texit's doing. And this is an important distinction. Texas is creating a mesh mine. Okay. So let me make sure people understand this. For Bitcoin, for say, you can go on the internet and buy a Bitcoin miner, actually about the size of a phone. Okay. It's sit on your desk, plug in a USB port or whatever on your computer. And if you're lucky, it'll sit out there and compete to try to mine Bitcoin and get paid in Bitcoin. Problem is you're competing with every other miner that exists in the whole world. The bigger miners have an advantage because they got more bandwidth, they got more hash power, et cetera, et cetera. So the big mines tend to win. Like 60-something% of all Bitcoin mining is in China. They got huge complexes of it. So that somebody with a little tiny one sitting on their desk, it's kind of a waste of money. But here's what happened instead. Texit flipped the script. They said, we don't want people to compete. We want everybody to win. So we're going to build one giant mine. Eventually, maybe one of the largest mines in the United States, if not the world, ultimately be 100 million mega hash. And what they're going to do is every day, that mine is going to produce tokens. Every day. And every day they're going to say, look, whoever is a shareholder, whoever's a stakeholder, whoever's an owner of one of our mines is going to get a piece of it. Pro rata for what you own. You can own one mining share, you can own 11 mining shares, or whatever, anything in between, 50, whatever it is. You're going to get paid based on that. So you don't have to compete. There's no competition. Everybody's on the same team. So the bigger the mine gets and the more tokens it produces, the bigger the share potentially that people can get. So it's a non-competitive, cooperative benefit to everyone. Better yet, if we go back to our passive income idea, every single day, roughly 7:30, 8 o'clock Eastern time, we get paid our tokens. So you want to just understand this term hash power. And again, you got a little bit more of a technical one on the screen, but hash power is basically the power of mining that you control. Okay. The power of mining you control. All right. Just like horsepower in a car, more horsepower, more power for the engine. That picture there with the yellow lid, that is actually a live active mine. You got a bunch of cables to the computers. The computers are in this big vat. It's cooled down to like 40 degrees Fahrenheit. In oil, this special kind of oil keeps the computer miners, technologies cool, keeps them efficient, keeps them trouble-free. Okay. And they got a bunch of these all over the state of Texas. They got them in like these portable, like kind of 18-wheeler trailers. So hash power is the amount of power of mining power you have. The more hash power you have, the bigger share you have of the mining output on that particular day. All right. So since this was kind of brought up in our pre-show, what's the difference between TXC and something like Bitcoin? Okay. TXC is the token that Texit produces. Well, if you just look at the chart, it's there. TXC has a mission. It's a singular function. It's got an idea. It wants to be the next kind of currency in the state of Texas specifically and expand out from that. Okay. It is a website where you can track everything. It has accountability. It has statistics. It shows growth. We can compare 2 months ago to today to projections. Bitcoin, for all it is, clearly the preeminent token, the path blazer, the trailblazer, but it's hard to do research on it. You got to be a little bit technical to know where to look and everything. Transaction fees are high. Texas transaction fees they're never zero, but super, super low. So not saying Texas is ever going to overtake Bitcoin as the preeminent token, but its functionality, the way it's designed, the way it's thought of, you could argue has some superiority. But the tokenomics, the economics of how Texas is put together is very, very similar to Bitcoin. The idea that it'll halve every once in a while, 132-year shelf life, things like this. So let's get into kind of meat of this here. Texit program. First of all, as I said, I want to emphasize this. It is a mining program. It's not a token program. If you're sitting here trying to share this idea and you say something, hey, if you bought Texit token, it's not going to get you as far. We want to talk about this as an opportunity to digital asset mining, okay, where you have hardware. You want to share the hardware, equity piece of the hardware that produces the tokens. Okay, I'm really trying to drive that point home because that's clutch. Every miner owns a share every single day. This produces the stable daily passive income. Anybody who's on the Zoom who's been in Texas for any length of time will testify to the fact that there's never been a day we didn't get paid. 100% every day. Okay. Now, this mine produces three tokens: Litecoin, Doge. You probably heard of those two. LTC is the call for Litecoin, and TXC. The rewards are only in TXC. They stockpile the other two tokens partly for the liquidity pool, partly to pay some bills, a lot of electricity involved in mining, so on and so on. This is basically the core idea of what's going on. So how does this particular program work? Here's their business model. If you are interested in becoming a miner, a member, it is a one-time cost with lifetime benefits, literally 132 years. We should all live so long, but it's going to pay literally that long. It's the same tokenomics as Bitcoin. But here's the good news. You come in, you pay once. You have nothing beyond that. No hosting fees, plenty of programs of hosting fees. There's no monthly fees, plenty of programs of monthly fees. There's no sharing fees. Sometimes if you want to be a distributor or a reseller or an affiliate, call what it is, you got to pay. You got to renew it every year. So you come in, one-time cost, okay, unless you choose to buy more, and you're done. And then everything moving forward from there is benefits going back in your direction. All right. So again, I'm trying to focus on this daily, stable, passive income, and you have access to it. Sometimes you get in programs where, yeah, you make a gain, but your funds are locked up for a month or 6 months, or you can't get to it, or you got to wait till some contract ends. Things like this. Here, if you get your tokens at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday night, you could sell them at 8:01 if you wanted to. All you got to have is your wallet, your access to the exchange, and you're good. Okay. Now, here we go. Just this is the operative question, especially if you're in the situation where you're saying, hey, I got a friend I want to show this to. People say, well, how do I talk about this? What's my icebreaker? And this question's gotten me all kinds of conversations. Hey, in the financial world, in the digital asset world, would you rather own the mint or would you rather own the currency it produces? Okay, would you rather own the toll booth on the highway where every time somebody drives past it, they pay you? Would you want to own the machinery that creates the tokens? That's what the opportunity here is. You own the machinery, you own the mint, a little piece of it. So every day, and the mint's spitting out tokens constantly, producing blocks every however many minutes or seconds. All right. And all we really do is plug into that and collect our rewards. So this is just some little bit of evidence of what's going on. This was last week, 2,100 new members, like 300 a day. Okay. More than 2.5 million of payouts and commission, coming up on 50,000 mining members. It's significant because at 50,000, there's going to be some tweaks in the comp plan. But look at this chart over here. Look at this slope. Look at this trajectory. I joined in February, okay, which is, I don't know if you can see my little pointer there, but kind of right above the Q1. Look at the growth since then. And I'm gonna get into some of the goals momentarily, but you can see this is cruising. The trajectory is where they want it to be. Same with the hash power to mine. You got two lines here: how much has been bought, how much has been sold, right? So they're both on the upswing. Look at the growth even since February. It's not at zero, of course, but it kind of looks like it is. Way up here, 18, 20, huge gains. So this is evidence here. This company is growing, it is progressing, it is moving, it is paying as promised, and it's working out. So just so you understand this, we are in phase 1 of the Texit path, Texit journey. The middle column is the goal. This would be considered when this phase has been accomplished. So the size of the mine, 100 million mega hash, would be an enormous mine. One of the biggest ones in the US, maybe even the largest, maybe even the world. Right now, they're a little under 20% of that, 18.2, whoops. Sorry about that. How do I get back here? There we go. Number of members, they might end up with 250,000 by the time they hit the 100 million. Right now, they're a little under 50. The amount of tokens shared every day, that's creeping up too. Liquidity pool, liquidity is really important. I break it down more in kind of not so much today, but in some of the more focused team Zooms we do. But the liquidity pool basically supports the value of the token. When people, if you wanted to sell a token and you put it into the market to sell, you want it to sell. You don't want to wait 7 hours for it to sell. You don't want to wait for somebody else to buy it for you to sell it. That what bridges that gap is the liquidity pool, among other things. So their goal, big liquidity pool, ultimately, right now they got enough to cover. Right now the token's about $4, maybe a little under that. It's had a little bit of a dip. You know, we always try to be honest about our reporting here. Their target goal is to try to get it plus $16 by the end of February. Be a nice gain. This is when all this is in place in this middle column, at least according to the math, it should support that price. That would take us towards the end of phase one. Then to move into phase two, which will have all kinds of expansion, eventually phase three. And all this supports an acceleration of token pricing. Okay, so real quick, people say, why would I buy a mine when I could just buy the tokens? And you can make an argument a little bit on both, kind of like leasing versus buying a car. But I'm telling you, trust me, I'm a math guy. I've done this math many times, made spreadsheets I've shared with people. In the long run, in terms of a few months and beyond, you will do better. And when I say better, I mean get more asset accumulation 100% of the time with mining. Okay. And I'm going to show you some evidence why. But with mining, again, one-time cost. Okay. Long-term daily passive income, long-term asset accumulation. Some people just get their tokens every day, bank them, bank them, bank them, bank them, bank them. Tokens you get today at $3.60 could be worth $15 later. Same token, just appreciates. When I came in, the token was 28 cents. 28 cents. A lot of people, the first bunch of people I showed this to is about 45 cents. We're like 9x, 10x of that right now. When you buy, yeah, it's a one-time cost, but it's totally price dependent. You are locked into market conditions, which right now haven't been that favorable. If the value goes up and down, you win or lose. And eventually you got to sell to make any kind of gain. So here, this is our market lately. Bitcoin, again, preeminent token, subject to market conditions. It's down 14% in the last month. I mean, look at the chart. If you're a trader, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see a slope going high low, right? It's up here, 115, bang, big drop, 20,000 drop. Put into simple terms, if you had $100 of Bitcoin, it's now worth $86 in a month. That's even worse than US dollars doing. Yeah. So the point is, you got to just trust me on this. And anybody wants to meet one-on-one, I will show you this math-wise. Mining will do you better than buying individual tokens. If you're already in and you want to pad it, a little different discussion. You want to pad it with more tokens and purchase. But in the end, mining is definitely going to do better for you. All right. So here's the other side, mining. Look at this every single day. And I could go back weeks and weeks and weeks with this. Every single day. Payout, 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 payout. Okay. This is where the long-term asset passive accumulation comes in. Even with the market down, I just showed you. Market's down 14%. Even Texit's price is down 4%. Still getting paid every single day. Okay. This is because of the power of the mining. And this is not costing anybody anything because you paid it when you got in. Okay. So let's talk about this. That's basically, if you want to kind of draw a line here, that's what the company's doing. They are creating a situation where members can enjoy long-term asset accumulation, passive income by ownership in a large mine that's growing, owning a share of it, and getting paid every single day. I think I said that enough that you get the point. Well, you could stop there. I don't know, 80, 75% people in the fold here are just doing that. They're stopping. But this company grows on a handshake thing. People telling people, people building teams, an affiliate program. So the company says, look, we realize people are going out there and working this. We appreciate that. So we're going to reward them. So they reward people for helping to build a community by having a simple affiliate program. This could be a 45-minute discussion. I'm going to keep it like 2 minutes. It's a binary pay plan. If you qualify for commission, The smallest commission you're ever going to see is $1,000. Largest typically would be about 9,000, and that's a week. A pay cycle is a week. Anybody here says, $1,000, that's not going to help me. 9,000 not going to help me. Good for you. They also have a couple bonuses. They also have, which I have here again. I'm not breaking this down in huge detail. You can take your payment multiple ways. You can say, look, I'd like to get paid in cash. I'd like to get paid in more hash power. I'd like to get paid in tokens. Now, I do want to say one thing. When the company hits its 50,000th and first member, okay, right now, let's say you got $1,000 as a commission, and you remember, you can say to them, listen, I don't want USDC. I don't want cash. I don't want TXT tokens. I want more mining power. I want a bigger motor. Well, right now, they're giving you 2 for 1. So it would actually give you $2,000 worth of mining power for 1,000. If you join after member 50,000, they're taking that benefit away. It will stay for the people already in, but it will be taken away from people who join after. A little bit of a sense of urgency, but it's just what it is. It was announced several weeks ago when they hit about 40,000. So short version here, the company rewards members for helping to build the community, for expanding the footprint, for helping to expand the size of the mine. They're happy to reward people for doing that. There's a plan. There's a way to max out the comp plan. We teach this. If anybody's saying, I don't know what to do, that's understandable. But if you want to learn what to do, plug in, get with people like myself. Come to some of our meetings we have, which I'll talk about in a second. And this is easy to master. The point is it's there. Typical cost here, entry point is under $1,000. So you get one commission cycle, you're even. Those of you follow me, very, very often I say this. Get into a program, understand it, get a plan to get yourself whole, get your seed money off the table, get ahead. So once you start working with house money, the risk isn't there anymore. So this is kind of a little more of a graphic. Again, I'm not going to break this down too heavy, but this one page is the entire comp plan. It's just not that complicated. All right. If you want to learn more, number one, let me make something clear. This is an open meeting. You might have been invited by somebody else. There is a reward to the person who invited you. So I'm going to make sure everybody honors that. So whoever brought you here, please get with them, have a discussion with them. If they want to interface with somebody like me, learn more, all that fun stuff, we can do that. Okay. But we do honor that within this group and within this team unconditionally. Okay. The company does Zooms Tuesday nights, 7 o'clock Eastern. This is the leadership of the company, Bobby Graham. Remember him from slide number 3, way back. Anybody can go to him. The one on Tuesday is geared more for members, a little bit more technical, goes over those 5-phase parameters, things like this. Thursday night, a little bit more of an opportunity meeting, often hosted by members, people who are in the field doing this, telling their story. Personally, we do a meeting for the team every Tuesday, every Thursday, and starting to do these on Saturdays as well. Okay, notice it's right after the other ones. We can share anything that happened. Again, it's not financial advice, right? There's the disclaimer. You got to understand the risks. I'm trying to make a case that if you do this right, you get in at the right time, and you do follow up, you get the daily income. The break even is in about 2-3 months, depending on the pricing. Okay. So this is this is in closing. We're going to close out in a sec, get to some questions, some testimonials. This is a typical Tuesday night call. In 45 minutes, this is all the topics they're covering. That's Bobby on the mic. Okay. But they're not holding back. One of the things that really got me excited about this and said to me, look, this is something worth putting my reputation online with, is the transparency of this company. They are willing to talk about when things don't always go great. They're willing to tackle problems publicly. They're willing to talk about, hey, we thought this was going to be here, but it's only there. It's below it. Here's why. Here's what we're not doing right. Here's what we have to fix. So, what makes Texan Coin different at 234? He spoke at a symposium at Southern Methodist University, 300 or 400 people. The Texit strategy, how's it unique? Talking about the pricing, how's it getting there? What's keeping it there? Adding liquidity to the liquidity pool. Okay, maybe an idea of an $80 token. Everybody would love that if you're in. Okay, so they're not afraid to talk about stuff, which to me is really impressive. This is just some of the promo you'll start to see out there. You got the logo, you got meetings people are doing. Here's a meeting we had last month in the upper left. Question people have is, how can I sell it? They're on 7 exchanges now. You got 7 places you could buy, sell this if you want. That's easy. They got about $8 million. They just committed additionally into marketing. They are in major airports. A bunch of people just posted stuff, seeing them in LAX airport, Orlando airport, Dallas airport, Houston airport, long highways, big interstates like Interstate 4, Interstate 10. I'm not sure of every name of every one. Um, yeah, they even got balloons. I don't know if people got a balloon in every yard, but they do. There's the path to $16 token that was put out last May in Vegas when they had a big meeting. This is actually what the miners are starting to look like. You got the back of 18 wheelers. They're custom fitted out. They're loaded up with all the computers, the cooling vats I was showing you, all the techie stuff, the ability to hook up the electricity to them. And there we go. So um, I'm going to circle back. But if you want to learn more, number one, if somebody asks you to come here, you have a relationship with them, absolutely get with them. If you just want more info, here's my email. Okay. Oops. There we go. There's my timer. I made it. Half hour. And you can set up a one-on-one meeting. So here's what I'm going to do. I got a couple people here that maybe want to share and tell their story, kind of briefly. I'm asking for a few minutes. Why you think this is a good thing, what your experience is, and, maybe for the good of the group. So while you're doing that, I'm going to kind of scour the chat and,
Got Terry here, Steve.
Terry is here. Hey, Terry.
Hey guys, how are you?
So anybody doesn't know, I was introduced to this opportunity by Catherine Ann Clayton, who is actually from the wonderful state of Texas, the Republic of Texas. And actually, this was what convinced us. I'm going to tell a little quick story. I'm going to turn it over to Terry. Terry is the one who introduced this to Catherine Ann. Terry's got a partner named Mike Healy, super active in this, really good leaders. Anyway, we were kind of on the fence. Yeah, we've got all these programs. We need another program. Yeah, whatever. Well, there were 2 things that were compelling. Number one, frankly, several of the programs we were in, even though we felt they had a lot of promise, they just weren't paying at the time. They were kind of stalled. They were building, they were building their infrastructure out, they were solidifying leadership, but there just wasn't a lot of cash flow. That's changed for some of them, which it is now, but this was back in the spring. And we saw Texas as a way to get some literally almost immediate cash flow, which turned out to be the truth. And the second thing is Catherine Ann just one day drove out of her beautiful house in Frisco, Texas. I don't know if that's even right. Plano, Texas, where she lives, to McKinney, Texas, where the company is based, showed up at the mine, had a little conversation with Bobby, all on video. We said, you know what? Looks like this is legit. And we went forward. But anyway, I'm going to ask Terry to just share whatever he wants to share for a couple of minutes, whatever your experience has been here. Maybe some advice you would give people who are, been in, not quite knowing what to do, or maybe people who are on the fence trying to decide if this is for them. So Terry, welcome. Terry is in beautiful Tampa, Florida, if I remember correctly.
Well, thanks for having me, Steve. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I'm appreciate you coming on. It's an honor to have you, buddy. So the floor is yours. Just try to keep it under an hour.
All good. Yeah. I'm a cash flow addict. So there's my first confession to start. And, I look at projects like this where I get to own the asset. I tell the story in many, many different ways, but let me ask everyone listening today. One of the things I asked people, I say, like, imagine in your hometown 20-ish years ago, someone came to you and said, we're going to be installing this new thing called an ATM machine in town. And they're going to be all over the city. And I'm going to give you first dibs to go and install all those ATM machines, and all of the cash flow, all the transaction fees will be yours to keep. Would you take that deal? Because I always call this model crypto ATM model. And there's a few different variations on it and flavors on it, and I'm an advocate for all the above, but this one's just been fantastic. I'm looking for a project that's not a someday. The mine is going to grow over time, but it was already active when we were there. We weren't fundraising something that would come someday. They've been hitting their goals. They've been hitting their deadlines. They've been hitting their track records. No one's perfect. If you want to hold someone to a standard of perfection, you'll always be disappointed. But this is a project that's, doing what they said they would do. And I'm watching myself, my friends, my family, a lot of people make a lot of money. what I think a lot of people don't grasp is the idea of trying to be a currency. You need massive awareness, and I think that's one of the that simplicity, the genius in it, if you will, is to just lambaste an entire geographic region with billboards, the airports, the highways, the radio stations, the sports teams in Texas. It gives someone a real opportunity to turn it into a currency. And the next thing that you probably haven't heard about, for those of you who are new, is that there is every city in every state's got a downtown revival program. And research has shown that a community currency wins, and every city in the country has tried some version of it, usually paper, tokens, that kind of stuff. And they realize it needs to be digital at this point, right? There's no way you're going to get young people to use a coupon when they can just scan their phone and do that. And so the entire state of Texas has a downtown revival board. Let's just call it that for simplicity's sake. And they have already agreed, the agreement's already in place for them to test out using Texit as the new community currency for the entire state of Texas, which would be, the 8th largest economy in the world. And that's incredible. And so when you see those numbers, like Steve talked about, hey, someday we might be able to be $1,000 a coin, $3,000 a coin. That sounds fantastical from where we're at right now. I think that's a fair statement. But if the entire state of Texas starts adopting it, that's not crazy at all. And just for loose math, they've got a promotion where you buy 9 and you get 2 free. For loose math, ease of understanding, when the mine is sold out, you'll eventually at some point in time be collecting about 1 full token a day. But imagine when that token is $1,000, right? That token value is $1,000 and you're getting 1 of them per day. You've bought your freedom. And so you can come to this show for a little or a lot. You can play not to lose. You can play to win. I come and play to win. Every time, if I have the risk to reward ratio in my head and I say, listen, if I can use 9K today and that might buy me my freedom, and there is at least a realistic plan in place, you could decide how probable it is, but it's definitely possible. And I'll take that bet all day long. And so I've decided to do that. You get to decide what you want to do. But I don't know very many places where your freedom is on sale for that kind of price. And I think it's worth it for all of us to take a shot at it. Because, if we miss by a little, what if it's only $250 a token and not 1,000, but you're getting 1 a day? Still life-changing money, or as my buddy likes to say, because it's a crypto statement. So no offense to those listening, but we call it life-changing money. Just inject a little humor in there for you. But if we do ever get to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, that's definitely, life-changing money if you are owning a piece of that printing press. And that's just incredible. So I'll stop there, Steve, unless you had other things you want me to tackle.
Well, let me underscore 2 things you said. Number one, yeah, first of all, it's a one time. You're not spending that money over and over and over. There's nothing. It's one time, one and done, unless you want to add to your position, and it's ongoing. It's a beautiful thing. And yeah, none of us have crystal balls. You hear that all the time in this business. You're looking at what's going on. You're looking for stability. Terry, I know you do a lot of stuff in terms of support. Is there anything you want to share? Like if people want to learn more, YouTube channel. I know we got a Telegram channel. Is just anything you're willing to kind of just throw out there that maybe people aren't tapping into yet, or that they can take advantage of? Because you put out a huge amount of really, really strong information. So I want to
Yes,
see people
we've
go.
got a Telegram group where I just try and send the summary information to make it easy. Because if you're in that main group, there's hundreds of comments per day. And if I
Yeah.
find 3 that are useful, I'll put them into one group. So you should definitely do that. I have some training videos, and my approach is a little different than many. And Mike Healy offers a different flavor of that, but he's got lots of training videos, all of which are compiled all into that same Telegram group. But I would just leave you this one idea. Don't overcomplicate it. We don't need to talk about all and beat people over the head with technical details and try and get them to understand crypto. I just say to people, listen, if you've ever driven over a toll booth before, because I love that metaphor. I always say, I've always been in a line of cars and see 1,000 cars there, and there's one, 40 minutes from our house, and I always say, I want to own that toll booth someday. Dollar, 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 dollar. But they all come into my pocket, and today I'm a toll booth owner. I'm just a collector of toll booths, and I don't really care whether it's in Gainesville, Singapore, or Texas. If we have a chance to grab a good one, we should grab onto it with both hands and sprint with it. And I think we've got ourselves a real winner on our hands here, and there's a real track record to go with. We're not just hoping and wishing and hoping that things work. We just need to see that same continuation of a plan already unfolding. And makes me
Mhm.
very excited. And we're here to support you if and when you decide to join us on the journey.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, one of the things I try to focus on today is mining passive income, one-time cost. We're not talking about token, we're talking about larger picture. Terry, I
Yeah,
really appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Uh, again, Terry's a great resource, strong leadership. Appreciate that. Um, Catherine, I want to put you on the spot. You want to just say hello to everybody who may or may not know you already?
Hello, everybody. I'm Catherine Ann from Plano, Texas.
Plano, sorry. What did I say?
You said
Briscoe.
Frisco. That's okay. That's north of me.
Is me. Go ahead.
I'm on the spot. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to do?
Uh, what do you love most about Texas?
You know what?
Why are you riding the Texas journey?
I was writing the Texit journey mainly for passive income. When I started this, I wasn't really looking to build. I was sharing with a few of my, close friends and close business partners. And what it has done for me is the passive aspect of it. For those of you that know or don't know, the past probably 3 months has been really difficult in our house, and it's been a way to spend little time, little effort, but get rewarded, you know, largely. In fact, I didn't even know a couple of weeks ago some things happened, and I wasn't even really. I helped one of my persons, but I wasn't really in tune with what was going on, and because I had built, a right side and a left side, I ended up getting 3,000 commission. I was kind of shocked when it showed up as hash power, and I was like, whoa, wow. I didn't even really know it because I wasn't paying attention. Now, when I say I wasn't paying attention, it wasn't that I wasn't checking the telegram and things like that. It's just that I wasn't able to sit down and spend time with people and personally myself sign up. But because I had trained the team below me, and to use me if they needed me, they were building below me, which I benefited from that. So now that the water has kind of settled, and it's kind of calm over here now, it's my turn to go and dig with my team and say, hey, you have, $1,000 commission sitting here, or 3,000 or 2,000 or whatever it is, and really help them build if they want to. It's like, I know that a lot of you here, we're kind of like, oh, we've been in so many projects, we've lost money, we've done this, we've done that, and I'm tired of losing, and this, that, and the other. I was talking to somebody, and I really thought about it, and because we're in football season, and I just got back from a Texas Tech football game, what would happen if, say, the Kansas City Chiefs tomorrow they're playing football and they lost? And they lost a huge game, and it knocked them out of the Super Bowl, run and everything like that. Are they just going to wake up on Monday morning and say, I'm never going to do that again? No, they're not. They're going to pick up, as my aunt used to tell me, put on your boots and your big girl panties and let's go. So we get to all, even though we have lost, and believe me, I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in this space. However, I'm not going to quit, and I'm going to keep going. And it's just the little effort that you do daily or weekly or whatever that can really change your future in the next, 6, 12, 18 months. Because what you're doing now, when everybody else is kind of taking their foot off the gas, because it's Thanksgiving, and then it's Christmas, and then it's this and it's that and all this stuff,
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
going to show up in 90 days. And in Texas, it's actually will show up in 2 weeks if you put your foot on the gas. That's
If
really
not
all I
sooner.
have to say.
Well, let me kind of say two things. One, what you refer to is the D word, big word in our business, duplication. When
Yeah.
you can teach people to do the simple things every day, it's all about consistency. Some people may remember way back when I had the 4 C's of success. One of them was consistency, community, communication, and commitment. Those are the 4 C's of success. I used to talk about them all the time. But consistency is critical. You're better off doing 10 or 15 minutes a day than doing 3 hours every 2 weeks. And I think the second thing is that you got to realize, look, how many people said to me, I'll join Texit, but I got all my money tied up in X, or I lost so much money in Y, I can't do this anymore. It's true. Nobody's denying that. But you got to evaluate each thing as a standalone. So, Catherine Ann, I appreciate it. I know you've had a rough stretch. Catherine Ann her mom had some issues and has gone to a higher place. So sorry to hear that again. But yeah, appreciate your support all along. Anybody else want to say anything? We're going to wrap this up unless there's any questions. All right. I'm going to close out by saying this. One, appreciate everybody coming. I'm looking at the screen. I know a lot of you are on board. I know a lot of you are guests. If you're a guest, make sure that you reconnect with the person that asked you to come here. This is being recorded, so I will try to get that out in the next however many days, probably by Monday. Number three is the people who win here. It's like a lot of people said, keep it simple. Keep it simple. I am very happy, and people notice if you have a prospect you want to get with me and yourself to like a one-on-one or a little group, it's very powerful and it's very effective, and our closing rate is very high. You just have to schedule it. There's plenty of support material. Everything takes work, but when the reward is worth it, people are happy to do it. And again, Catherine Ann said it doesn't take years and years of effort here. And I'm going to say this. I looked at my downline report. There are about 35 people on my team who are set up to make at least $1,000. Probably half of them 3,000 if they just plug in and do a little bit of work. I'm not saying it's always easy, but it's got to start with something. Anyway, we got one question. Yes. iPhone. What do you got on your mind?
Are you talking to me?
Talking to me. There's nobody else here. You talking to me? Go ahead, man.
Steve, first of all, I'm doing Texit, and I've maxed out on my own account, and my wife is in. But I'm at a point where, there's paralysis over super analysis. So it's hard for me because I'm involved in a few things, and it's a hard thing to try to, because I'm a dentist, and it's hard for me to like try to promote, because like I said, there's few things and they're all good, and to just do this as a passive thing where you're just collecting the tokens, would that be okay as opposed to trying to promote it as a business and try to bring people in, because you just are in a position where it's hard for you to do that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, let's talk about real life, right? Even with people, first of all, the short answer to your question is yes. Everybody's going to do this where they're comfortable and where it makes sense to them. So there is no expectation that everybody that joins an opportunity is going to be a huge business builder. Okay. The statistics are probably 1 out of 4 at best. 75, 80% of the people that join opportunities don't build at all, even whether it's by choice or lack of motivation or lack of talent or lack of whatever, they just don't. So it's only 20, 25% who are going to take an active role anyway. And of those, not all of them are going to be, huge front of the line kind of people. So there's absolutely nothing negative or nothing to apologize about or nothing to be negative about if your whole goal is get in, get your position going, and collect your daily rewards. That's better, honestly, than a lot of people doing programs they try to build, right? So I think that's a win right there. The only thing I would say is this: if and when somebody who is in that passive only mindset decides, hey, I think I want to take this to another level, just understand we have systems, we have processes, we have information, we have support, we have 100%, maybe even more of what people need to take that step. Nobody should be reinventing the wheel. Nobody should be out there trying to sell this on their own. I don't even want to use the word sell. Nobody should be out there marketing or sharing this on their own. Everybody should be plugging in to what the team's doing, to what the opportunity materials to help you are doing. I mean, I put out, and not there, you can use whatever you want. Company puts out videos, upline, like people like Terry put out videos. I put out videos. So if you're ready, you or anybody else who's kind of on the sideline doing passively, which is great, decide, hey, you know what, I got a little more free time, or this is making more sense to me. Just plug into what we have. So that maybe that makes it easier for people, because I know people say, well, I don't know how to talk to people, or everybody I know hates me because they lost $5 in this other plan, or everybody I know is waiting for some other program to pay out. That happens. You hit that. It's just the way it goes. So, but there's a lot of people in the world. There's a lot of people that need a little extra money, and there's a lot of people willing to work if you show them. And I can tell you this because I'm on it every day. There's a lot of people willing to get involved if you educate them right and you're patient and you follow up. So, the way not to do this is, hey, you want to buy a token cheap? That's not how we do it. You got to plug into what we're doing. So I applaud you, Mayram, for just getting involved, getting a position that you're happy with, hopefully, and kind of rolling from there. If you or anybody else here decides, yo, I'm going to flip the switch, I'm going to get a little more active, every Tuesday night, to kind of teach people how to do this. Every Thursday night, we can talk about it. You can get together with me or anybody else on the team one-on-one, and we'll help you as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What would a meeting be without Mayran asking a question?
It's been a while. I miss him. I haven't seen him.
It's
Good to see
kind of a
you.
love.
Hey, Jim. How you doing, buddy?
Good
Nice
to
to
see
see
you.
you.
Jim, since you're on mute, you want to say
Thursday.
anything, you want to say anything to our adoring fans here before we close this?
Me?
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what, real quick.
Share your experience a little bit.
I can tell you right now, the experience has been grand because I was fortunate enough to get into Texit Coin thanks to Catherine Ann and Steve bringing me on board in middle of April. I left it alone for 3 months, as I usually do, just to see how it runs and see if I could earn a profit from a program without recruiting. And it did. It passed that with stars and stripes. Right in the middle of July, I was able to retrieve my cost for one miner, which was $9.95. We didn't have the discount back then. $9.95. In the middle of July, I was able to recruit that seed money, which I always tell everybody: get your seed money out before you start blabbing it all over the place, unless you really feel strong with bringing in people and explaining to them that you didn't get your seed money back yet and you have a private group. But I wouldn't go public with anything until you get your seed money back in your pocket. Around the beginning of August, I decided to sign up my first person. And they bought a 9-pack. I was able to qualify myself by signing up another person in my right leg. And I made my first commission at $3,000, and that was pretty much my. Everybody knows what's going on in the world right now with crypto, and when you have something that's paying out like that, and it's so simple, you grab onto it, you run with it. So Steve's been a great coach, great support. The things I like about Texas the most is obviously I've never ever seen a company so transparent in all my life. Without a doubt, the most transparent company you ever want to see. The support is phenomenal. I got to tell you, I'm not saying it's going to last forever, because I've seen companies go from 30,000 members to 300,000 members in a matter of a couple of years, and their support center falls apart. But I will tell you this one is smart enough to stay ahead of that curve with support, where they keep on bringing more people on to support the community. And right now, they're turning around their support tickets in less than 24 hours, easy. And then they do follow-up, and then they do another follow-up. So they make sure you are 100% satisfied with whatever support you need with the company. That's something I've never seen before. I trust the company wholeheartedly because it's virtually everywhere. Like if you were going to be running some type of scam, or you were going to have some type of something where you're trying to take advantage of people and you're trying to, use smoke and mirrors to earn money off of a group of people, as we've seen in the past. Why would you publicly throw it out there everywhere in airports, driving down the highway? As you can see, a blimp or a big balloon floating in the sky. They have big events. They're wrapping cars all over the place, and they're growing just very, very quickly through marketing campaign. Again, why would they be marketing something to that extent if they're trying to play any games? So I love the trust behind that. And then most of all, and guys, you can't, again, we've touched on this, Steve touched on this, Terry, everybody's touched on this. Proof of work. The proof of work is there, right? It's not speculation, it's proof of work. From the minute you get in, you're already part of a working system. You have something already working. It's not like we're getting in and we're building towards something one day. It's already here. It's already running. You get paid from day one. Literally sign up, by the next day you're already making money in Texit coins. So I could go on, but thanks for giving me a minute. Really love the company. Again, the support is phenomenal. We have a really good team. There's so many really good people here that decided to jump on board with Texas Coin. So I'm very happy with that. And some dear friends that have decided to join Steve's group and Catherine Ann's group. And I got to tell you, I'm very excited about the future with this program. So that's it. Thanks, Steve.
All right, with that, thank you, Jim. Thank you, Catherine Ann. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, everybody else who shared. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate everybody coming out. If you're interested, let's take the next step. And next event will be Tuesday night at 8 for our team. That's our Tech Tuesday. Otherwise, get with the person that invited you, sort of classic thing you hear all the time. And if they need help, they can reach out to me or anybody else. So thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. We're halfway through the month, which is exciting. And we go from there. So again, let me stop the recording. Boop.
Thank you, Steve.